Today we are talking about modal verbs. Modal verbs are special verbs which behave differently from normal verbs. I don't want to bore you with all these grammatical facts related to modal verbs, so in this video you will learn how to use modal verbs, when to use, and what's the right usage of modal verbs. So let's start. We have three separate groups. First group, strong obligation. Second, weak obligation. And third, lack of obligation. When we want to express strong obligation, we use must, have to, have got to, and had to. When we want to express weak obligation, we use should or ought to and should have. To express lack of obligation, we use needn't, don't need to, don't have to, didn't need to, and needn't have done. Let's see the strong obligation. We use must and have to talk about present and future. But when we want to talk about past, we use had to. Must is used to talk about strong obligation in the present and future that are imposed by the speaker. You're giving your personal opinion. You must brush your teeth before you go to bed. I must pack my bag. Must is also used to talk about laws. Drivers must obey traffic signals. Have to and have got to are used to talk about strong obligation in the present and future that are not imposed by the speaker. So you are not giving your personal opinion. I have to or I have got to do some homework tonight. My teacher says so. Jane starts work at 7 o'clock, so she has to get up at 5. Jane says so. It's not my opinion. There is no difference in meaning between have to and have got to, though have got to is a bit informal. Let's make it clear if you have any doubts whether to use must or have to. First of all, it's allowed to use have to when you give your opinion, especially in American English. It's fantastic film. You must say it, or you have to say it. Both sentences are correct. Be careful. When you're not giving your personal opinion, use have to. Do not use must. Let's compare. Jane won't be at work this afternoon. She has to go to the doctor. This is not my personal opinion. It's a fact. But Jane isn't well. She doesn't want to go to the doctor, but I told her she must go. This is my personal opinion. If in doubt whether to use must or have to, use have to. Had is used to talk about strong obligation in the past and reported obligation. I had to help on the farm when I was young. I was late for work yesterday. I had to go to the dentist. We were told we had to get a visa before we left on holiday. Okay, it comes weak obligation. To express weak obligation, we use should or ought for the present and future, and should have done or ought to have done for the past. Should do, ought to do. There is no difference in meaning between should and ought to. You should do something means it is a good thing to do. It is the right thing to do. You should or ought to take warm clothes. You can add not to tell that something is not a good thing to do. You shouldn't, should not do something. It is not good thing to do. For example, you shouldn't watch TV so much. Should have done, ought to have done. Again, there is no difference in meaning. In the past, should have done and ought to have done are often used for criticism or regret because an action did not happen. We should have bought your sister a card for her birthday. So we did not buy a card for her birthday. An action did not happen. Be careful. Should have plus part participle, the third form of the verb. Done, bought, given, known, etc. And the third group, lack of obligation. We use needn't, don't need to, and don't have to talk about lack of obligation in the present and future. To talk about past, we use needn't have done and didn't need to do. There is no difference in the following meaning: needn't, don't need to, and don't have to. Be careful when using he, she, or it. Auxiliary verb is doesn't need to and doesn't have to. She doesn't need to come to the meeting if she doesn't want to. You don't have to wear a uniform at our school. Needn't have done or didn't need to do. These past uses express different meanings. Needn't have done is used when something is done, but it was unnecessary. I needn't have gone to the bank as I had some money in my pocket. Didn't need to do is used when something is not done and it was not necessary. I didn't need to go to the bank this morning as I had enough money to do the shopping. Now, take a look. If you use needn't have done, you have to put the verb in past participle. But if you use didn't need to, the verb stays in infinitive. Okay, now we have said everything about obligation. Let's say something about permission. To ask and give permission, we are using can, could, and may. Can is the more usual way of asking for and giving permission. Can you open the door, please? Yes, I can. Could is a bit more polite. Could I borrow your bike? And may is quite formal. May I borrow your bike? Let's move on with prohibition. For the present and future, use mustn't and can. And for the past, use couldn't. Mustn't and can't are used when something is forbidden. You mustn't cross the road without looking. Christina can't go out this evening. Her boyfriend says so. Couldn't is used to talk about past. Something was forbidden in the past. For example, when I was young, I couldn't go too far alone.